Okay, so on this question, we have this big box, and it says the box has a width of 10, right? It's right there. Length and height are changing over time. We got that right there. At what rate is the volume of the box changing? When the length is 21 and the height is also 21. Give the result in exact form. So you see the answers there. So how do we do this thing? Well, um, you remember the steps, right? So here, let me get a, I'll do it right over here. So step number one. So identify the rate letters. So the rate letters, which letters do we have like changing in rates? And that's easy. The length and the height, they're changing, right? So pretty obvious. We get DLDT. And what's that? The length is increasing positive at 2/7, and the height is decreasing. That'd be a negative. And I'll make that as a negative, right? So the change in the height over time is -4/7. Okay, so identify the rate letter. Step two, write an equation. Sorry, that's not all. Then they ask, at what rate is the volume? So they want to know the volume rate. Okay. Equation, back to it. Equation relating only those letters. These are related rates. We have a relationship between only those letters, meaning only those letters, L, H, and V. So what's the equation? Well, you know the volume. Do you know? The volume of a box is length times width times height. Any order, just all multiplied together. So now we want V for volume. That's right there. We want H and L, but we don't want W. Well, the W is 10. So I'll go 10H, or probably might write it nicer, 10LH. That's probably a better way to put it. So there we go. There's our volume equals 10LH. You have an equation connecting, relating just V, L, and H, and then numbers. All right, step three. Now we're going to do d dt of both sides. Okay, just writing a little bit more space. Okay, so we bring this on down. I'm going to take this equation. V equals 10LH. And I'm going to go d dt of this side and d dt of that side. So this left side's easy, dv dt. The right side, what are you gonna do? How are we gonna do it here? I hope you know it's a product rule, right? Because 10L and H. So do the derivative of and I would encourage, you might think, well, let's just put the 10 in the front. Well, I think for product rule, that's a product, those two functions multiplied. It's just easier to take the number with the first letter item. So just 10L, so I'm just going to think of it as 10L. That's the first function, and H is like, just be easier that way. Let me show you. So derivative, what's the derivative of 10L? Well, that's going to be 10 dl dt, and then the H just sits. Remember, they take turns. This is the product rule. So the 10L goes first, which is 10 dl dt, and the H just sits there. Plus, then the 10L will just sit there, and it's the H's turn to do the derivative here, which will be dH dt, and I did the derivative there, the first part. Remember that? So the product rule again says they take turns, and when you've got like a number, the reason I don't just put the number in the front, because then you'd have to distribute to both. You might forget. I think it's much easier. Just take the number with the first lettered item, and then let the second letter item just be the second function. Those are the two functions. 10L is the first function and H is the second. And they are what? Times, right? Product. We'll change the color even. They're multiplied together. So you do the derivative of the 10L, which is 10 dl dt, and the H just sits there. Plus, then the 10L just sits there, and the derivative of the H is dH dt. So there we go. And then, step four, plug in the numbers. Okay. So let's do it. So we've got dv dt equals 10. Now what's dl dt? Well, we got it. Got it right here. dl dt is plus 2/7. So that's easy. Bring that over. And h doesn't tell. Oh, the length is 21, height is 21. So the h is 21 plus 10, and now the L, which is also 21. And then dH dt, what's dH dt? It says it right here, minus 4/7. Minus 4/7. So there we go. We just got to work that out. So dV dt equals, you can use your calculator. I'm going to go 7 into 21 three times. 2 times 3 is 6. This is 60 minus, it's going to be negative because that minus 7 into 21 3 times 4 is 12 times 10 is 120 minus 60, which is indeed the answer. And that's cubic meters per hour because volume, are you aware that volume is always cubic units? You know, like a cube, three-dimensional has volume, cubic units, meters by meters, meters by meters by meters, you know, length with height, meter, meter, meter. These are meters, these are meters, meter, meter, meter. Like, yeah, I don't know why I drew a dumb little cube down there. We got a cube up there. So yeah, so it's volume. It's how many little cubes can you fit to fill up that whole shape? Cubic meters per hour. That's how the volume is shrinking. It's going down 60 cubic meters per hour. And so there we go.